Despite William Shakespeare seeing his demise some 400 years ago, his name still carries immense relevance today. This is, in part, owed to his then original style of inserting somewhat discreet political statements, or social commentary, into his works of entertainment. As time has flowed, this style of influencing the masses has become commonplace, with numerous lives being impacted by the thought of it. Whether it be in journalism or general entertainment, the majority of modern media relies on at least a small saturation of political content in similar fashion to Shakespeare's style so many years ago. William Shakespeare has managed to transcend chronological boundaries in a more impactful way than is obviously notable to most. During his time, Shakespeare was able to aptly use an array of methods to avoid turning viewers away with politics while also expressing his profound opinions. In certain works, such as A Midsummer Night's Dream, he used slight connotation to best summarize his opinions.
I please you to see our epilogue or to hear a Bergamask dance between two of our clients. No epilogue, I pray you. For your plays, truly, and notably, discharged. But come, your Bergamask. Let your epilogue alone.
In this excerpt from Act 5, Scene 1 of A Midsummer Night's Dream, we see a prime example of Shakespeare's mastery of using hyperbole to allude towards his opinions over outright stating them. While one could mistake Theseus's pity as Shakespeare sympathizing with bourgeois of his time, it is far more likely that he actually used this statement to subtly criticize that group. Furthermore, Shakespeare used the same style to tackle issues such as gender inequality with the characters of Helena, a character exaggerating the archaic concept of hysteria of A Midsummer Night's Dream, and Juliet, a more level-headed and progressive character of Romeo and Juliet, two very different characters representing a similar idea. Despite the playwright usually thriving off of such subtlety, he certainly wasn't afraid to directly tackle less divisive issues. His opinion on power was made evident throughout themes and dialogue in Julius Caesar and Hamlet, two tales paralleling in the concept of power struggles and connotation, but dissecting in context. Since these ideas were coined by Shakespeare, they have been adopted and expanded upon in unprecedented ways. Today, Shakespeare's idea of political media has grown to an unwieldy size. It seems that every single day a new piece of media is released attempting to push an agenda and failing due to a lack of subtlety. Recent examples include the 2016 Ghostbusters reboot, a film releasing to the direct opposite of critical acclaim due to overbearing undertones taking away from the success of the original films, and Star Wars Episode 7, a film forcing diversity while not actually doing anything with it. An example of Shakespeare's inspiration on one with good intentions, yet relatively limited abilities, is J.J. Abrams, the director of the latter film, and how he discussed his solution to Hollywood's diversity problem.
But there's a problem in Hollywood, diversity. How do we solve that problem?
I think the problem is slowly getting solved, but nowhere near fast enough. I think that we have to choose from a pool that's representative of the country we live in. I think that studios have to step up and be aware of the need to make films, not just having actors that represent the population, but writers and directors and crew members that do. I think it's good business. I think the movies will get better, stories will get stronger, and audiences will respond bigger, and that's good for the bottom line.
Well, he is certainly right about the lack of diversity in cinema, a problem incessantly plaguing the medium since its inception. His execution was the issue. Certain characters bred from the same flaw, such as the modern Ghostbusters.
My name is Erin Gilbert, Doctor of Particle Physics at...
And Ray.
And kills his true enemy.
End up falling short because they simply enforce an obvious archetype, preventing diversity. This idea can easily be compared to how Shakespeare tackled very similar issues, making his inspiration relatively obvious, but also contrasted in the idea of skill, accentuating Shakespeare's talents. It isn't to say that Shakespeare's brilliant ideas have only spawned negative iterations of social commentary, though. We can look towards characters such as Hermione Granger from the Harry Potter series.
sorry. You're okay. Let's go.
Quick! Run for the word to anyone.
Who managed to insert diversity into their stories in a meaningful yet subtle way, which can make all of the difference in the long run.
We have gone forward with a clear vision and a righteous mission to make America great again for all Americans.
While influencing creators to spread political undertones is certainly a legacy, Shakespeare's potential effect on how we as a society actually function is far more interesting. Look at how politicians use Shakespearean-esque ideas to bring themselves into power. Akin to how Shakespeare himself celebrated the monarchy and made this clear as mentioned prior, people looking to accentuate their social status use the media and their wealth to highlight whatever they wish. One who comes to mind when discussing the topic is Donald Trump, the 45th President of the United States. During his 2016 campaign against Democrat Hillary Clinton, Trump successfully used the media to his advantage. Trump used the phrase,
Make America great again.
alongside a variety of quips to attain media coverage, both positive and negative. The methods Donald Trump used really do parallel Shakespeare's own quite well. He exaggerated parts of himself he wished to share, akin to Shakespeare with his thoughts on power, and defaced his opponents with glib, akin to Shakespeare's Richard III, among other similar plays. Without Shakespeare's confidence to share his opinion and sublime method of doing so is untold how politics would function today. Perhaps society would see a much different array of cinematic expression, or perhaps politicians would act on a different playing field. Well, one could argue it is simply human nature to use such strategies to one's advantage. That raises the question, why was Shakespeare the first to truly do so? As is true with many things Shakespeare, and as he would likely want, it remains a mystery how important he really was to the engineering of modern society. It is safe to say, however, that the famed playwright remains relevant in many facets, both directly and